Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there on FAF. This is Brink of Insanity once again, and I am joined this time by a co-host. Introduce yourself, bud.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Greg, or FiMFlamFilosophy to those who watch my channel, and this is the first time ever that I'm doing a casting of sorts. This is a casting with Supreme Commander using the FAF mod, or it's rather not a mod, it's more of a lobby, the Forged Alliance Forever lobby. It's a really interesting utility that adds a bunch of new stuff to the game, different game modes, also a T3 mobile anti-air for those who that means stuff to. But joining me today is Brink of Insanity, or rather I am joining him. He has been doing this for some time, and I am dropping in.
About 2 months casting now. I've been playing this game for about 2.5 years.
But a better eye for stuff than I've got is he's a little bit quicker with the zoom in and out. But we will do some post-editing to try and make up for my shortcomings. This is actually my first time doing a cast like this. First time doing something live, actually. Aside from small interview things. Definitely first time doing a live cast with somebody else as well. So,
absolutely. Should be a lot of fun. You get two perspectives instead of one. Maybe I can shed some light on the technical side if you guys have questions, and Philosophy should be able to fill in the gaps with some friendly banter. This is a pretty good matchup, actually. On the left-hand side, we have Sentence and Sentos. That is Blackheart and Petrick, two of the top players on FA, probably in the top 10. And on the right-hand side, we have Gorton and Gyro, right up there in the top 20 in the 1 versus 1 rankings, and both excellent players as well. This should be a good game.
We've actually got 3 players who are playing with the UEF, which is one of the 4 factions available in this game. We've only got 1 player with the Aeon faction, so we're not going to see a lot of asymmetry in this game, but we will see some tricks up a few sleeves.
Absolutely. There's a lot of similarities between the factions, but there's enough differences that there's some really unique tricks that you can pull off. Maybe we'll see 1 or 2 here. I know Aeon has a couple of unique units, and UEF has one as well. One of the great things I love about watching the higher ranking players is they're so aggressive. The lower ranking players would just bring their ACUs to the front, whereas we can see these guys are coming to the front loaded for bear. They've got artillery, we've got a tank out front, they're bringing engineers with them. Just absolute aggression to the max.
You can see in the middle that this map actually has a bunch of wrecked units, and that's actually really essential to this game. What those do is they provide mass, which is one of the 2 resources available in Supreme Commander. You need both mass and power. You get power from power generators, but this is all, of course, reviewed to familiar players in the game. What more advanced players will do is they'll go to the center of the map, and they will slug it out for all that extra mass in the middle. You can see a couple of larger units down there, or larger wreckages. And those will actually boost up your economy quite a great deal early on.
Absolutely. The wrecks in this game are worth 81% of the total mass cost of the unit. So if you can imagine, if you win a war in the center and then you reclaim all the units behind you, you get all of your mass back and you get all of their mass, and you can turn it into even more units to roll further in. It's a huge bonus. Absolutely game deciding if one player does it and the other player does not.
You can see here, we've got actually a choice to go with artillery from Sentence, whereas Gorton actually decided to go with your basic T1 tanks.
There's no just an ACU going to the front. It's all get in there now, and bring as much firepower as you possibly can with you. Actually, either one has advantages. The tanks are able to kill the artillery has longer range. So a little bit of dodging and micro around, and either one can be effective. It just depends on the situation.
Sentence and Gorton fighting it out for a little bit of mass and then stopping to peacefully claim one of the largest things out there before the other guy can do it. They can both weather a bit of fire. The cannons on those things are not enough to kill one another.
Absolutely not. Not unless you want to embrace in a nuclear hug.
This is one thing, there is a certain amount of mutually assured destruction. If one player gets lowered down enough and explodes, he explodes into a horrible nuclear blast which can easily take out the other player.
2,500 damage. If you want to kill someone standing close to you, you gotta have greater than 2,500 health.
Sentence, do you think those assault bots up there, are those on patrol? Or is he microing those things?
I believe he is microwaving them. Those are light assault bots. They're the fastest unit, well, the fastest combat unit in the Tech 1 phase. They're really speedy little guys. They can actually micro around ACU shots if you're fast enough.
We see Gyro going ahead and just ceding control of that center to Centos.
Yeah, I think the left-hand side got the advantage on the early mass grab. It seems like they made away with just a few hundred more.
And just on the other side of the mountain, in the center of the map, we see Centos has actually built a factory with the radar that just got taken out. What this does is this gives him a bit of a defender's advantage here at the choke, where he can rally units to that choke more quickly than if he was building them back at his base.
Absolutely, and swapping your unit mix takes effect faster too. If you need anti-air right on the spot, you've got a factory right next to you. You don't have to wait the travel time for all of the factories back home to get them to you.
Now, Forged Alliance is interesting because they give you a variety of different units to choose from, but they all have very straightforward practical applications. You've got the tanks for direct engagements, artillery to hit stuff from afar, they can outrange any of your point defenses. You've got the light assault bots, which are fast enough to zip around and take down mass points and power generators where they can find them. And then, of course, you've got your AA, your mobile AA guns, which not terribly effective in small numbers, but alright once you get a number of them.
Absolutely. The light assault bots are actually not nearly as good as the tanks damage-wise. Their main advantage is their speed. So that is something to keep in mind. You don't ever want to create a large attack force only made of assault bots.
Well, they're interesting because they have about the same DPS as the tanks, but so little health that they just get swept off the field as soon as they show up.
Yes, the tanks have 300 health, and the light assault bots only have 75.
Gyro is already at Tech 2, building combat fighters to assist with the complete lack of air aggression this game. Just training exercises to keep the men sharp.
Ah, sending scouts in front. That is actually kind of smart to wait on that. Although he is negating the element of surprise by flying directly over all of these units and landing right in the middle of this base. That is the UEF special unit, the Sparky. You can see it has a riot gun mounted on the top, although the riot gun's supposed to be protecting the Sparky, and it seems to just be pegging away at that mass extractor, and those Sparkies are not looking too healthy.
No. And here come units both from blue and green moving in to take them out. They do not want that in their base. Nothing is fun about having point defenses laid down by the enemy in your own area of operation. In fact, it's a bit humiliating.
When you have an area of denial right on your spawn point, you might be having a bad time.
Now, one thing that's interesting is you can see that for the point 1 defenses, they actually build walls around the things. And this is one of the few times that you actually use walls in this game. It's an ability that you have, but a lot of times restricting the enemy's movement means restricting your own movement, which is undesirable. But these point 1 defenses can actually fire over the wall, but they're short enough that they themselves will not be hit as often.
Yes, that's correct. Some of the Tech 1 tanks have a little bit better luck against walls, and sometimes it depends on the terrain. But just as an example, I have a replay from Pilot that was playing where he had a single Tech 1 point defense surrounded by walls that killed over 80 Aeon T1 tanks. I love the coordination you see with the higher ranking players. Neither one goes, oh, that's your problem, you can deal with it. They both send all of their units at once to just stomp that down as fast as they possibly can, get rid of the problem and make it a non-issue.
You see here from Pink, he's coming out with these units called Mercies. And Mercies are suicide units. They're light, they have about 10 HP, and they explode on impact. They're a one-time use.
2,400 damage though, so you don't want to let one of those slip past your guard. Just a couple of them can take out an ACU.
They are flying, and they are phallic, and they will drive right up your butt.
Not a good place for them. Hopefully neither one of these guys is going to experience that. It looks like they have a decent amount of air cover, but maybe they'll survive it. It looks like Gorton is in for try number 2 with his Sparkies, but Sentence is having none of that. He has interceptors all over that transport trying to knock it down. But his attention should be elsewhere. Mercy's coming in on his ACU. He's going to land a few hits. Flak is there to deny a couple, but oh, that last one's taking him under a quarter health, down 2,400.
You can see kind of a beautiful explosion, and of course name calling from Sentence. This is not fun. This is no good. Quite nearly killed him though. If he could have just gotten one more of those guys in there, might have been enough to actually pull that off.
Exactly one. And those engineers are going to fail as well. Gorton did get him on the ground, but once again, artillery responds, wipes him out, not a problem. Waste of mass from Gorton.
Well, this is one of those things. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It wasn't going to work the second time.
Yes. Up here on the front, you can see that Centos has built a flapjack or two. Those are the Tech 2 mobile missile launchers. Just a note on the turtle approach. In this game, a turtle can be effective to, if you throw down a point defense or two to protect a strategic area, it's no big deal, but you do not want to make a fire base your fallback approach, because for every tech level, on Tech 1 you have the mobile artillery, on Tech 2 you have the flapjack or the other faction's appropriately named mobile missile launcher, and on Tech 3 you have mobile artillery. There's always something that outranges the stationary defense. So focus on it enough and you can crack a fire base really easily. Offense is truly your best defense.
Now it looks like the front is crumbling for Gyro. He's got his forward base, but it's not producing enough to really hold anything off, and that those forward point defenses just getting hammered by the mobile artillery and also the missile launchers.
It looks like he's going for try number 2 with the Mercy Snipe, though. I count 7, 8 of them over here on the side.
So he is.
Here come the scouts.
Massing him up on the ridge here.
He does have a mobile shield over his ACU, though. That is one thing that he does have going for him.
Just got that out on this forward... No, not that forward. Excuse me. Just got a forward land base up. If he had moved out with those Mercies a little bit earlier, he might have had it. As it is, though, he's actually looking at a pretty large size army. He's sending the Mercies now, took out the mobile shield, and Sento sees what's going on and immediately starts to fall back with his robot. With his AC.
You could see how he picked up a veterancy killing one of those units. His health blipped back up. Veterancy is a component in this game. The first 2 vet on an ACU is 20 kills. You get a little health boost and you get a little regen boost. Always a good thing in a pinch.
We see both Sentence and Sentos regrouping together. They have the advantage, but it looks like they're not pressing out at the south. They are actually drawing the attention of Gorton, who's come down to help out. Hopefully, very risky at this stage in the game, trying to make the difference with his ACU. I haven't been seeing anything in the way of an overcharge from either of these guys, though.
No, it's I think there have been 1 or 2, but sometimes they aren't very easily noticeable, although overcharge is something that you definitely want to use. 12,000 damage and like 3 area of effect. How can you not use that? It's an amazing tool.
Something that only the ACUs have. It can rack up the veterancy, because the more kills you get, the better your ACU gets. If you can claim enough of that stuff, then you can get to be pretty formidable. Yep, you can see Sentence running in here with a bunch of T2 tanks and some support. Some mobile light artillery. Completely unhindered.
Yeah, that is exactly the situation that you do not want to happen. It looks like Sentos is very busily securing air control. He's finally produced enough interceptors to come over here and kill off all of Gyro's air.
And forward base at the southern choke gets squashed out. The guys regrouping, but not terribly effectively. Pink is mostly invested into air, trying to get up a power generator so he can start spamming out those higher tech air units. Only problem with air units is that they're very energy intensive.
Absolutely. The Tech 3 air is actually about the same mass cost as Tech 2, but it just costs exponentially greater power. you need 4,000 plus power income before you try to get Tech 3 Air. You can see the little T1 bomber here on the center land factory. A T1 bomber has good area of effect, and it managed to kill 5 Tech 1 engineers in one pass.
Actually, Brink was telling me, if you're very good with your timing, you can actually bomb an interceptor with a bomber.
Yes, if you pull a full stop with a bomber while an interceptor is following you, it will fly underneath your bomber, and if you time a bomb exactly right, you can ground fire and bomb the interceptors out that are attacking you. That is an awesome thing about Supreme Commander, as opposed to StarCraft, which is a statistic-based game. In Supreme Commander, down to the last bullet and tank tread, everything is simulated, and that just opens up whole new worlds in gameplay. Microwing to dodge, you have collision mechanics, all that good stuff.
Here we see down here in Pink's base, he's trying to shore up a fleet of bombers. Of course, that's about to get completely flattened by these interceptors flying over the ridge. We also saw a bomber come in and wipe out a bunch of engineers while they were trying to assist this building. One of the neat things about this game is that if you don't feel like building a whole bunch of factories, you can settle for just one, assisted by like 100,000 workers.
Absolutely, maybe not that many. For air especially, with land factories, you get some pathfinding issues if you have too many engineers. But on air factories, I mean, you can see his air factory, he's producing bombers so quickly that the interceptors can't even kill them all. There's just a couple of anti-air there, and there's still like 50 bombers over there after the interceptors are dead. He is going to be needing those bombers, though, it looks like, because Gyro is in trouble.
Not a lot that either side has to respond to it at this point.
Gyro has set up the mother of all anti-air spams right there with all of his engineers, but sadly, anti-air is not going to help you versus tanks.
Especially given the fact that the only thing really threatening from the air were interceptors, and a few bombers, but nothing so bad that you would really want to devote a lot of resources to stopping them.
Sentence has pulled an insane amount of eco upgrading. His mass income is 139, second best is only 86. He's actually pushing the highest tech unit, the Tech 3, making Titans and Tech 3 mobile artillery.
And it looks like Gorton is in trouble, surrounded by enemy units, not a lot left to do but just die in flames. He should have just waited in there, out of spite, blown up what was left of that army and seen if Gorton could lay any more waste to what remained.
That is true. You never want to really give up on this game, because I have seen some amazing clutches pulled off at the last minute.
You never know what you can pull off at the last second. People get silly, they start to win. This is a game that's really nice because, like you say, the element of surprise has such a strong impact on the way things turn out. Sometimes it goes exactly like you plan, other times people get comfortable, they sit on their laurels, and then get blown up by something from the distance.
Yeah, although this game we saw a strong eco from Sentence. He's pulling in so much mass, and he's got the Tech 3 land on board, and he is pushing Titans down from the north. So I think one way or another Gorton was dead.
And that's game. An interesting game with a couple close calls from both players on the left side, but ultimately ending up in a defeat for the right side of the map.
Yep, anything can happen until right up at the last minute, but that is the way it falls this game.
So, noble effort, an interesting game. Thanks for casting with me, Brink. It was, like I said, first shot. Hopefully the viewers find that interesting.
Absolutely, it was a blast. It was well done by both teams. There was some failed attempts, but I like the innovative thinking of the right side. They were really trying to be surprising, but unfortunately, when you've got good players that are scouting, it's hard to take someone by surprise.
Yes, indeed. Oh, one more thing. Again, that was Forged Alliance Forever is the mod for this game. It comes with a lobby. You can actually talk to people. It's got a game finder to look for people at your own skill level. Lots of neat stuff. Tons of different game modes. A co-op single-player campaign, too, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yes, and it's all player-created. There is some great stuff going on, new things all the time. And, hey, if you want a feature, you can probably find someone that can introduce it for you, or you can make it yourself.
So, that's all for now. We may catch you guys again some other time.
See you later.